Hi everyone, my name is Nathan and this is Multiversal Chess, the first YouTube channel focused on 5D chess. So in today's video, I'm gonna explain you how to play 5D chess, how 5D chess works, the moves of the pieces, and all of these things. So basically, 5D chess consists, as the name says, in 5 dimensions. So the first and the second dimension is width and height, and this is the normal chess board. The third dimension is unused, and the fourth dimension is time, and the fifth dimension is parallel universes. So to explain the move of the pieces, let's go to puzzles here. First, let's go to Rotatics. So basically the rook in the normal chess, the 2D dimensions here, move vertical and horizontally, and it's basically the same thing with time and parallel universes. So the only thing that is different is that you don't move the squares in the 2D board. You only travel to the past on the same square, but in different boards. An important thing is every time you travel to the past or through parallel universes, you can only travel to boards that was your move. So I can travel to this board and to this board because it was my movements. I can't travel to this and this because wasn't my movements. And the puzzle here is telling me that I have mating 1. So let's analyze this. So we can checkmate his king, traveling to the past, because here he can move here he can move here too, and we don't have checkmate in this board too. So to do the checkmate, an important thing that you use most is checking his king past, because it's more difficult to defend the past of the king, because if you're checking the king's past, the only way to stop your piece to checking his king is to or capturing the piece like in the normal chess, or traveling to the past to a point that or will block the check, or will bring this present line back, so their opponent can do his move until you do the move in the present. So I will explain how this present line works later in the end of this video, because it's more complicated. So here, as you can see, we can check his king at this board, just moving to here. We're checking his king here because, like I said, for the rook travel to the past or to parallel universes, it stays on the same square that it was the current board, only travel through another board in the past or parallel universes. So here it's checkmate, like we completed the puzzle here. So let's finish this puzzle and go to the knight tactics here. So in the base chess, the normal chess, the knight moves in an L form, like 2 squares to one dimension and 1 to the other dimension. So for example, 2 to the right and 1 up, 2 up and 1 to the right, or 1 to the left. As you can see here, I have these rectangles. This works like the squares in this 2-dimensional board, but it's a rectangle because one rectangle takes one movement for white and one movement for the black. Basically, we can check his king here, and apparently cannot check his king's best because he don't have any king. Here we don't have best yet. So if I move here, it's the correct move because whatever he does will result in my knight going to the best here and taking his king. So why the knight can move here? So it's basically the L movement, but with the fourth dimension, and the second dimension. So the knight can move one dimension, 2 squares up in the half dimension, and 1 square to the left in the fourth dimension, in the time dimension. So 2 squares up in the half dimension, and 1 square to the left, the time dimension, the fourth dimension. It's basically the same here. 2 squares to the left in the which dimension, and 1 square to the left in the time dimension. So here it was complete. Let's finish and let's go to the Hypothetics. So the bishop in the normal chess in the two-dimensional board can move 1 to the left and 1 up, or 1 to the right and 1 up, or 1 to the right and 1 down. Things. So 1 square to one dimension and 1 square to another dimension. So basically the same thing as rook and knight. This is the correct move because anything that his king could do won't stop my bishop to check his king here. My bishop can check his king here because he can move 1 to the time dimension and 1 to the half dimension. So here, or 1 to the time dimension, and 1 to the which dimension, and works the same thing to the parallel universes, like the knight and the rook. So I think you get it. I will leave that and go to the Quintetics. The queen is very powerful, most powerful, because she do the bishop movement plus the rook movement, but a little bit different. The queen, when she will travel to the past or through parallel universes, has a square around her. So every time that you move to the past or a square to parallel universes, these squares increase the size. So, and increase the size, but don't fill the entire square. The queen can maximum cover 9 squares on the board when she's traveling to the past or through parallel universes. So only 10 squares, and this big square, this 3x3 square, increase the size by 1 by 1, 1 to 1. So if there was a board, instead of this 3x3 square here, will be a 4x4, but with only these squares available for the queen go. Because like I said, increase the size of the square, but she only cover 9 squares at the maximum. So here the puzzle is telling me that it's mating 1. So let's think here. So basically we don't have checkmate here, so we can think like, oh, the square around the queen increase by 1 every time every square back to the past are true parallel universes. So we don't have parallel universes, we will only use the past here. So probably the checkmate is in the king, is in this king, because we don't have checkmate here. And if we have this king, could go through the past too and avoid the checkmate. So I think now it's a good time to explain how the king movement works too. So basically it's the same thing as the queen, but the king can only travel 1 square far from the current board. So 1 square far to the past, one square far to the future, 1 square far to the through parallel universes. And it's a square around here, so 3 by 3 square, like the queen, but this square don't increase the size because he can only move 1 square far on the current board. So with this said, we can analyze this to see how we can checkmate his king. So basically, this is the right move, because he can do nothing to stop my queen to travel to 2 squares to the past. So this square around her will increase to 3 by 3 to 4 by 4, like I said. So here you can see better that the squares increase the size by 1, but it won't fill this square. She can only cover at the maximum 9 squares on the board, in the past board, or on the parallel universes board. So here is checkmate because he can do nothing to stop my queen travel to here. So let's finish this puzzle and go to Quintets. So I've already explained it, the king's movement. So I will only do this or explain to you this cool thing that here in the 5D chess you can checkmate his king with a king movement. So it's very interesting. So basically you have to think on how you can capture his king. So the right movement, because we are checking his king here and his and his, but this and this, but I only think in that king, and it's checkmate because he can't move this king. So this king isn't checking my king like in the normal chess game. It isn't checking because he already made his move here. So can move, but I can move here and can capture his king here. So now let's go to advanced branching, to the last puzzle here, to explain how this present line works and how branching works, and because it's a very important thing to know. So here, let's analyze what's going on here first. So basically, until this board, it's normal, but when we get here, the white pieces move it, the knight to this board, and causes a branch. So every time that you travel to the past to a board that you already made the move on the board, it creates a branch. If you didn't make the move yet, it don't create a branch, like in this one. The opponent, the black pieces, moved his knight to this board so my opponent here moved his knight to this board, but it didn't create a branch because in this board my opponent didn't make a move yet when was his turn. So it didn't create a branch, only counts this move counts to a move for this board and this board. So basically it's only create a branch if you travel your piece to a board that you already made a move. An important thing too is when you create a branch, the branch goes down, and when your opponent creates a branch, the branch goes up because of the pawn's movement. Since we analyzed that, let's see what we can do here. So basically here we have checkmate because his king can move in this board, because he can move to this board, and when he moves to this board it will create this board actually it will create a branch to here up, because my opponent creating a branch. So here is not checkmate, and we have to checkmate my opponent in one. So let's think in another movement. Let's analyze this board and then we can play too. And this board, actually we can move our queen to here. So, and here is checkmate. But a cool thing to explain is now it's a cool interesting point to explain how this present line works. Basically, when you make a branch, this present line move. Like when the white pieces travel this knight to here, it creates a branch and bring back this present line to here. And later the black pieces made a move and bring to here. So when you create a branch, the present line back to the board that you create a branch. So why this present line don't went here? It's because you can only move the present line one time in a row. So if you want to move 2 times consecutively, like here, the present line won't move, and so your opponent doesn't have to make a move in this board. So it's not a checkmate. With all these things explained, let's go to the solution for this puzzle. Let's move our queen here, and the solution is checking his king here. And because of that, like I said, this board is waiting for my opponent make a branch to move back to this board. Because when some player make a branch after the other player made a branch, the present line will move back to the board in the most fast. So if this is the solution, because it's checkmating this board, but you can avoid going to here, but he can't go to here, because if he go to here, it will create a branch, and this branch will move this present line to this board, and this board is checkmate, and he can't avoid checkmate here, because here he don't have boards with 3 squares. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.